Hey, let's talk about forms of numbers. You can represent numbers in 4 different ways that we're going to talk about. First one is standard form. The second one is word form. The third one is short word form. And the last one is expanded form. First, let's talk about standard form. This is the one that we're most familiar with. Standard form is just a number written with digits and commas. The commas are there to represent the periods. If we write this number in standard form, it simply looks like the number 57,203,849. This is written in standard form. If we write it in word form, we're going to actually write the number as though we were reading it. First, we'll look at the millions period. In the millions period, we have 57, or 57 million. So let's write that. And don't forget your hyphen. 57 million. Go ahead and put your comma for the end of your period. Let's look at the second period, which is the thousands period. 203,000. Let's write that just as though we were reading the number. 203,000. And again, go ahead and put your comma. Let's look at the last period. 849. Don't forget your hyphen. I like to tell people to keep the commas, or tell students to keep the commas, because you can look at the commas and check it by period. Let's look at this period. If we read it in standard, it's 57 million. Well, let's look where the comma is. It says 57 million. We can kind of check ourselves. Let's look in the thousands period. 203,000, and when we read it in standard form, it's 203,000. Now let's check the last one behind the last comma. 849, 849. Because writing all those words can be a little confusing, and you might forget to put the name of the period, so the commas just help you keep it all straight.
The next form we're going to talk about is called short word form. And this one's very interesting. A lot of times you might see this form of numbers written in the newspaper when they're trying to condense big numbers. They don't want to use as many words as word form. So short word form is like this. We're going to start with the millions period, and we have 57. So we're going to write it. It's kind of a combination of standard form and word form. We're going to write 57 and the word million and put your comma. Then we're going to go to the thousands period, and in the thousands period we have 203,000. So just like standard form, I'm going to write 203 like a number and the word thousand and put my comma. And the last period is the ones period, and I'm just going to write the number 849. And this is called short word form. And you can see it's a combination of standard form and word form. The last form that I want to talk about is expanded form. And in order to talk about it, I need a little bit more space. Now, expanded form takes this number and stretches it out, because what we're going to do is we're going to look at the value of each digit. And we're going to put plus signs between it and add it all together. So when I look, I always start on the left, starting with the 5. We have a 5 in the 10 millions place. The value of that 5 would be 50 million. So I'm going to write 50 million and put a plus sign. Then I go to the next digit, which is a 7, and it's in the millions place, and the value of the 7 is 7 million. another plus sign. Moving on down to the next digit, which is a 2, and it's in the hundred thousands place, so the value of that 2 is 200,000. Now I get to the next digit, which is a 0 in the 10 thousandths place. I can go ahead and put a 0, or I can leave it blank. It doesn't matter, because a 0 in the 10 thousandths place is simply holding that place. So it doesn't have any value, but it is necessary to hold the place. I'm going to go ahead and put a 0. Then I go to the 3 in the thousandths place. So that value is 3,000. Moving on to the 8 in the hundredths place, I get 800. A 4 in the tens place, the value is 40. And finally, I'm at the end, and a 9 in the ones place, value is worth 9. So this is expanded form. And again, it's taking the number and it's looking at the value of each digit and expanding it out, like a big addition problem. And if I lined all these digits up and added it together, I would get the number 57,203,849.